Greetings, everyone. Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. All right, there's a couple of things I really want to get into, and it's a matter of danger to us, to reality, to our world, to our planet, to everything you could imagine. It's starting with truth. If you want to hear truth or not, most people don't. They say they do. But here's the thing. If you want to hear it, stick around. I want to ask questions. Put it in the chat room, please. I answer everything sooner or later, usually right away. If I can, if it's ridiculous, I will remove it. But the topics are what's happening on the planet and to the planet, and what's going on during that time frame. Now, the past 2 days, there's been major serious problems happening to the Earth. The Ring of Fire, which goes from one side to the other, from Japan to the United States, down to Alaska and down to Antarctica, all around that whole giant circle. All right, Australia as well. They had the worst earthquakes in a large number yesterday and today, early this morning. And they also had a giant tsunami underneath the ocean that hit the coast of the United States. We're in trouble. Now, on top of that, the flooding on the planet has escalated this year more than ever. All right, more people are getting sick. But there's multiple things that you're going to have to realize are going to happen. A lot of the water is going to be contaminated. All right? All the water and standing still water will be contaminated. Don't touch it. Don't go near it. I'm not going to go into all the details, but check it out online. On top of that, a lot of the foods have serious problems going on. Even those noodles that everybody eats that are $1 a package or whatever they are, Roman noodles, whatever, they actually killed a couple children already. Food's going to be contaminated more than ever in history. Why? We'll get into that. But okay, now we know there's a strike on all the ports, about 14 ports directly, which will affect the world and the United States greatly if they don't solve it soon. Mr. Biden says he wants the unions to work it out. If it goes too long, everything's going to crash. You're not going to be able to find food, buy food, get money. All those kind of things are going to come crashing down on us. In Hawaii, we were told that Honolulu is a little bit safer right now for the port and everything else. But eventually it'll carry over to everywhere. If all the cars are stuck out in the ocean, all the food's stuck out in the ocean, and everything else is stuck out on boats, they can't be brought in, we'll be in trouble. I mean, hopefully Biden will have to act on that. Otherwise, we could have a really serious disaster happening. But while that's all going on, there's still wars going on in other countries. Do people care? Do people understand what a war is? It's two ignorant countries fighting each other. 3 ignorant countries, or all the world people fighting each other for no reason. All right. And weapons, well, the United States will pull ahead of every country within a year. They'll release the most dangerous, scariest spaceship ever created. It already costs $44 billion, and it has every weapon known to man on it. So guess what? It can control the planet. Now, when we talk about weapons, we're not talking about nuclear bombs, hydrogen bombs, electron bombs, and all those kind of words. We're talking about new weapons that Tesla created. The one that's being used greatly is called directed energy weapon, which has actually been used in the United States, and it's being used in space as well. So, I don't want to go into all the weapons Mr. Tesla created, but the few that you should know. He created the first earthquake machine in 1900. He almost leveled the square block in New York City if they didn't shut his machine down. Then he was working on a doomsday weapon, which was when kind of he pulled away, disappeared, and all that kind of stuff. Well, I've been writing to Mr. Musk, and I'll say this to his face. He's brain dead. He doesn't know what's happening anywhere, spiritually, religiously, government-wise, or what's happening to the planet itself. He knows nothing about global warming, all right, and how it's being created. Very few people do. All those people writing to me every day, well, donate for this, donate, and they don't donate for what? Save the planet? How are you going to save it? Do you even know what's going on? If people don't know what's going on, how are they going to save it? Or what's causing the problems? Nobody's talking about that. Al Gore came out many years ago and brought out the word global warming. He showed effects of it, but he never said what was really causing it. Scientists say, well, it's earth changes, it's the sun, it's the moon. The number one thing that most people do know is called fire. When we have a giant forest fire burning away, it produces a mist that goes up into the ozone and destroys it, causing solar energy to change, allowed electromagnetic fields to change, and radiation to come into our planet. I know the government said a while ago, oh, we could produce an ozone layer around the planet again. They could, but they're not. Why is that? Does that make sense, people? We have the cure for leprosy, and there's still 2 countries that still have it. Nobody's going to pay to ship it there to help those people. Do you call that a spiritual world at any level? No matter what religion you follow, to let people die of something that we have a cure for? That's pretty pathetic. Never mind blowing up children, shooting children, all those things. Well, there's reasons for everything. I don't know. See that picture in back of me? That was in Denver Airport, and it might still be there. There was 4 major frames around those pictures on the walls in Denver Airport. They showed what's happening and what's going to happen. It's based on the New World Order. They removed them. But something people don't know, which I proved, and my camera was stripped and everything else, but it said in steel, in the main port of the airport, where you get your tickets and everything else, there was a giant glass triangle. And it had all kinds of trophies in there with pictures of presidents and things there. In the floor, in steel, about 35 feet wide in a circle, it said, U.S. Air Force New World Order. And I'm not making it up. Put my life on the line on that, but it was taken out 2 years later. But it was there for 2 years. Millions of people walked over that, never even read it or saw it. They might have saw the capstone, the triangle glass thing that was there saying all these awards and everything, showed pictures of presidents, but they couldn't piece that together. They don't have a clue how the airport was even built. Why there's a giant horse, a blue horse with red eyes standing out in front of it. Why there's no solid roof over that whole airport. And then top it off, why they were digging underneath it for years. And the proof of that is miles around it. When they were digging tunnels underneath Denver Airport, they were pulling those rocks out and just laying them outside. So if you go around the airport further away, you'll see just piles and piles of rocks. But technology changed that. Laser technology gave a machine, instead of using a rock boring machine, they use a laser and blast a giant tube through rock. No removal of anything, just a nice, smooth, round circle hole going through. So they created subway systems built around the subways themselves, all through the systems of the tunnels they created all across the United States. How many people talk about that? I wrote about 1,000 times saying, why do you care about going to Mars? I'm going to get into that a little bit stronger, but when they built these tunnels, they all go to different bases all over the United States. They're manned by roughly about 10,000 people, each one of them. Already, they created hydroponics farming for underground. When the California lost all its water, it was being fed to this underground city to put the water system into place. All right. Then I don't know if you know anything about the HAARP system, HAARP system. Well, it's the most deadliest weapon on the planet, as of what people know or don't know. All right. But when they turned that on in California, the electric company, and I know it for a fact, they had to shut the electric down. Oh, we have power because we have too much power being used. We have to condemn how much power people are allowed to use and all that. It was a lie. They were feeding power into the HARP system. But if that would have went on when the power grid was set up and running, it would have blew out the whole city. Or cities, plural. All right. And that was years ago, and years and years and years ago when I found all that out. I had a cousin's uncle worked in the actual place where they were shutting the power off and everything else. All right. That's one little thing, the HARP system, which we have 5. Russia has one, Japan has one, China has one. But Tesla made it in the United States. We built, and I know the person that was involved with creating it and making it become the weapon that it is. He was on Jesse Ventura's show. One of the last shows that Jesse Ventura was allowed to put on TV, and he was killed 2 days later. In the hotel room. He didn't even get to leave yet. Right? They talked about the HARP system. I work for the phone company. I called the White House, and I said, well, what's going on with this? The next day, I got a package delivered to me. 50 pages about the HARP system just being a test, and they're just using it to see, and 50 pages of lies. Nick Baggage, his father, was killed because of the HARP system. He has a site online, pull it up. He doesn't have all the information. He won't believe one word I say either. Because Hawaii has a HARP system. Oh, we'll prove it. I proved it to him, and he still didn't listen. People don't want the truth, especially if they're afraid of it. If it's a happy, loving thing, they'll promote it and say it and agree with it just because it sounds good. And the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is not true. The world's coming into the golden age. Not anytime soon. Not with the people that are here, not with the conditions we created. We can't go into a golden age with disease-ridden people, not because of real sickness, because of man's programmed sickness. All right. Now, when we get further down the road, which will be within 5 to 6 years, a couple things are going to happen. You'll notice in the next 2 to 3 years how many more people die in a day than 2 years ago. The percentage was 150,000 born a day, die a day, and 150,000 die in a day. 300,000 are born in a day. So, but that number is going to be the opposite very soon. If Trump gets in or not, it's not going to change that much. Because something that you need to follow up on, I'm not making it up, and we're in stage 5, and they just moved up one notch. It's called UN Agenda -30. Meaning by 2030, we will be under one world order. All right. 193 countries agreed on that already. All right. Now, what does that mean? Who's controlling? Who's this one person? And I know people don't believe in aliens and everything else, but there was a real live interview of an alien on TV. Parts of it. You can actually pull up major parts of it now. But the alien said one person's going to destroy the planet. And they were torturing him and trying to get him to say, who's that one person? And it's not Trump. He doesn't have that kind of power. But again, when that was happening, the United States was working with aliens. Putin confessed to Trump that they are. And Putin asked Trump to tell the world what we're doing with aliens right now. For real. He said it on Russian TV live. When he met Trump, he told him, what did Trump do the day after he met Putin? Oh, I created the Space Force. No, he didn't. Anything he says is a lie. Everything he's saying about AI is a lie. He's protecting himself by saying everything that's out there against him is AI. No, it's not. I'm 71. I was alive when all those pictures and TV videos and shows came out talking about it, showing it, what Trump was doing. He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Really. All right. He was friends with Hugh Hefner. Really. But guess what? They had a falling out. He was thrown out of the Playboy Club. I mean, we already know Trump talks like an asshole when he's in a room with men and everything else. And never mind women charges is hidden and all these things that are happening. Where did he find his girlfriend? Do you know what she was doing? What's on his mind outside of controlling the planet and thinking he's God? Well, just recently, he has pictures of him with angels in back of him. He's on the ground, on the floor, kneeling and praying and all. He probably cannot recite the Lord's Prayer. Never mind, tell the world what it means. And if he did, he would be contradicting who he is and what he is. And he knows that. But he's still trying to win over certain kind of people. People with guns might not ever realize the truth because they have a gun and they want to keep it. Kamala will not remove guns from everybody. Not most people. It's just a matter of giving them guns to people that aren't completely crazy and are willing to sign papers and different things and commit to a thing like protecting the gun in the house so a child can't get to it. You know, simple little things which Trump says, well, gun people don't want to hear that. They just want to hear they can get a machine gun. Why does a person need a machine gun? They call them killing machines. Why do people need those kind of machines? Why do you think, people? Why would you want to have a rapid-fire machine gun in your house? Who's going to be attacking you? The guy down the street trying to rob your house? How about the Army? How about the Marines? How about an army coming in to attack you? Oh, why? Well, there's a lot of serious problems going on right now with religion and spiritualism. And nobody's talking about it because nobody knows the difference. Nobody I have talked to in the past 5 years can actually explain what spiritual means. Seriously. Anybody you know that claims to be spiritual, ask them, what does that mean? Let them tell you some stupid story. Then tell them to prove it. You know, spiritual was a word created by man. What does it mean? Very little to people, because when a person says they're spiritual, they're lying out their teeth. I've been doing a radio show for about 14 years, different people and everything, but I never say I'm spiritual. Never did. I say I'm on a spiritual quest. I'm getting closer and closer to the end of it, but I will not say I'm spiritual. You know what happens when you become spiritual? Not this idea of like these new age people say you become six-dimensional beings. Really? What's that mean? Oh, I can float in different levels and prove it. You know what remote viewing is? It's a bad thing. The government has been doing that for over 40 years. But when a person does it, do you know what it means? They're actually leaving their body and going into somebody's house, inside their house. That's called remote viewing. It's not used good in any way. Astral projection's a little bit different, and you heard the word. It means you're projecting out of your body, which when you do, you're in your astral body. And you go to the astral plane. All right, the planes that God created are separated by multiple things, including, I call them little gods, but they call deities. You can't go from one to the other just because you want to. It's like saying, this little kid's a nice, good kid, I'm going to put him in college. It doesn't happen. It will never happen. The angels that were the highest angels were thrown out of the higher realms that they were in for major reasons. And they're down in the lower realm, which is called the astral plane. When people say, I work with Gabriel and Michael, 2 angels. And in the Bible, there's 9 angels mentioned, and you never hear any of the other 7 even. All right? And when John wrote Revelations, which he did, he says there's hundreds of angels. Why does it? I work with an angel, but what's his name? Well, I don't know. And why do you think an angel will say, I'm Gabriel, I'm Michael? Why would they have to brag about their name? They don't. When Muhammad met Gabriel twice, the second time, right before the second time, his brother goes, you're working with Gabriel. How would his brother know? You know, on the inner world, it's so different than the physical reality. Angels, beings, deities, entities can take on forms whatever they want. Usually whatever form you want them to be. If an angel, let's use a worse word, a demon wants to come to you, are they going to come looking like a Bigfoot, or are they going to come looking like a dragon? How about another person in a white robe? Oh, that's Jesus. That has to be Jesus. Oh, that's God. Oh, right away. It's imaging. It's called programming. I'm going to get into that a little because I started hypnosis when I was 12, started hypnotizing all my friends at 14. I met Kreskin, who's still alive. I'm surprised. I think he's 89. But he was the most famous moving, traveling, entertainer, hypnotist, mentalist. I learned hypnosis from him. So by 14, I had it down pretty good. But by the time I was 17, I had a girlfriend, and I was trying to buy a ring, but the guy that was going to sell us the ring was an army hypnotist. And we talked. I told him I was a magician. And he goes, well, how about this? I'll teach you more about hypnosis, but you got to teach me magic. When you're working with children, it's harder to keep their attention. Oh, think about this. Oh, I want to go play baseball. Oh, no, I'm going to ride my bike. They're not thinking about what you're telling them to think about. So you're doing a magic trick. They're focused on something. And that's why he said he wanted it. And then he taught me more about hypnosis. Now, a fact that they will not admit ever, and he proved it in the Army. Anybody that can get hypnotized, not everybody can. I can't. All right? Not everybody can. But if you can be hypnotized to do anything somebody tells you to do. And the way you go about doing it is you change what the person sees and thinks. Oh, that's pretending like they have dementia. That's not your mother. That's a terrorist, and he's wearing clothes and blah, blah, blah. And they did testing with guns and everything behind glass walls and things like that. You can be forced to do anything. And I don't know if you know, years ago, when dentists or doctors started working on a girl in a room, there had to be a camera and another person there. Because hypnotists were hypnotizing girls and doing bad things. The other thing is you can take the person's idea of what happened out of them. I did it. I was working with my friends' teachers and stuff. And you can give them a thought. Well, when you open your eyes, there's going to be a rabbit in your hand. You're going to pet it for 2 minutes, and then it's going to disappear. And things like that. I had a girl that was a teacher, and she was a singer. But she never liked to sing publicly. I made her sing a song. And when she woke up, my cousin said to her, oh, you sang it? She started crying, ran in the bathroom. But you can make a person do anything, good, bad, and indifferent. Here's the thing. When I was young, all my friends were with me whenever I did it. And each one of them, well, let's do this to that person. And I just tell the person to do it, and we do it. I gave everybody a name, a word. I could say that word, and they'd be hypnotized within 3 seconds. All right? That's how serious it is. And I was a kid, 14, and learned that. You don't think the government has better technologies like what they did to the person that killed Oswald, the person that killed John Lennon? You want the truth about that? No, I'm sure you don't. John Lennon was a terrorist to the government. They did not want world peace. That was the farthest thing from their reality. They were working with aliens. Something most people don't know, and I tried getting his wife to talk about it, but she's cloud nine, that John Lennon was abducted by an alien, was given something to him from an alien. He hated aliens. He was with a famous person at a concert in New York City, and that person says, well, why don't you go on stage and sing with them? And he goes, yeah, I think I will. But right before he did, he handed this object to this person. He goes, these aliens gave it to me. I don't want it. A week later, he was killed. All right. People, the truth's out there. Another person I dealt with was working with aliens. His wife's been abducted and on and on and on. And I was getting him to come out publicly. Well, he was taken out 2 years ago. But again, he explained he was on New York City street when he saw John Lennon get shot. He had videos of the triangle ship over his house during the day in Arizona. The truth's there. But if the government hears it, sees it, finds it, they remove it. Now, to Musk, to Trump, I've been in the UFO world all my life. I experienced everything except being abducted and taken on a ship. I work with hundreds and hundreds of people that have been. Bud Hopkins wrote 25 books on abduction. But seriously, people, it's a real thing. Nobody talks about that either. The government can't, and won't. Stop. So I was in the UFO world lecturing for a couple years as well with somebody that was, his name was pretty big in the UFO world. And we shot more videos, not more videos, a couple videos, but more pictures than anybody else in the United States and maybe the world on real UFOs. Not tic tacs, not dust, not make believe phenomena and words like that. Real ships. All right. We even did a show called Strange Universe. It was taken down a year ago because of a reason, which I'll explain. We used to go to a place where Tesla was working with DuPont. I'm going to go into the details about it. Tesla worked with DuPont. Tesla got his knowledge not from DuPont, not from college. You could take your own imagination and try to figure out where he got his knowledge from. Daydreaming. Greetings, people. Thank you for coming in. If you got a serious question, please ask it. But when he was working there, he was given 200 inventions. 50 were the most deadliest weapons on the planet today. All right. And this is in the early 1990s. Oh, no, wait, I'm way off. 1900, 1920s. All right. And this is an army base today, secret. It has fences all around it in New Jersey, saying if you get caught on this property, you will be shot. I'll say this person's name. Maybe I won't. He sold out to the government 2 years ago. Can't talk. He copyrighted everything we ever did. Even the TV show we did, he had it removed somehow. I got a copy of it. I got pictures. Anybody that's real, important, get in touch with me. But they won't. I've been dealing with Skinwalker Ranch for almost a year or more. Not one of them will talk to me. I've been dealing with Rich Dolan, and all he can say, well, I think. I said, you want the truth? You want to know something that you don't know? These people don't want to know. And if you watch Ancient Aliens, I did. I watched it for years and thought it was interesting. Waiting for something important to come out of it. Nothing did. 16 years later, well, this pyramid could have been built by aliens. Could have been built by aliens 16 years later. Now, people in the UFO world, all the good people, intelligent army people, were killed. All right. On top of that, you've got people like Linda Moulton Howe. She claimed to be working with the idea and searching out and checking out Bigfoot and cattle mutilations. The cattle mutilations was more popular because she was on Coast to Coast every month. So is my friend Sean David Martin, who's dying right now because of the government. All right. Here's the thing. In her history, she assumes things and says things. She can't prove one thing about cattle mutilation. I saw two happen in front of my face. All right. That was a long time ago. I didn't have a camera. I wasn't prepared to see it in the first place. When I went out there, I saw the animal on the ground and checked it out and all that. I was blown away. Because where I was in Washington, the only thing that was around my property, the house next door had a dog, and the farm next to mine, I was on 50 acres, was a cow farm. Never saw anything other than hawks and eagles. This was a creature, some kind of fuzzy animal, big enough to be almost like the size of a dog. Wasn't a dog. But again, I watched the light hit the ground, and then also when I went out there, I saw the animal on the ground. There was 2 holes in its neck. All right. I mean, now they're removing the tongue and everything else for a reason, people. I could tell you all the reasons because I had the truth, I saw the truth, and I was involved with it. Aliens use the sacks of animals, and so does the government. I could be shot tomorrow. I could be taken out tomorrow, but I don't care. I'm going to a better place. This is hell, people. You can believe you're in heaven and everything's beautiful, but it's not. It's all lies. Everything you think you know is a lie. Not one person in government talks about the real problem of global warming. All right? They don't talk about what they're doing. They kill 10,000 dolphins a year to try to train them to kill humans. The things that are going on, and that's for real. All right? The things that are going on in front of you have nothing to do with saving you or helping you. People don't care about rich people, don't care about the poor people, the sick people, the old people, homeless people. They don't care about those kind of people. Now, to blame all these people coming into the country as being bad. Everybody that came into the country was bad. We all are. We're in hell. So how could we be angels? We're not. And if you think there's an angel on the planet like Sai Baba and people like that, you're wrong again. Sai Baba, if you heard the name, did magic tricks to win people over. He would give gold rings away to people. He'll hold the plate and poke, there was a ring, and he would give it to somebody. Then he pulled this dust out of the air and gave him booty dust, they called it. He was just doing stage magic. All right. But he had one of the biggest followings on the planet during that time frame. He was supposed to predict when he was going to come back after he died. He was taken to the hospital with pneumonia and died. Never said another word. People, you hear these things over and over. This guy's spiritual. Oh, this psychic's incredible. Psychic abilities are an ability, but nobody on this planet, has the ability to be 100% accurate in any level. Sure, certain energies around you relate to certain things. Everything has a foundation somehow with something, with vibration. So when you go to a psychic and you go for healing, nobody on this planet has the ability to heal another person today. Miracles happen. Oh, this guy came. When you go to a born-again church and the guy whacks him on the head and goes, okay, you're healed. And they get up, I'm healed. You know what happens to that person? They walk out of there thinking they're healed. A month later, when their body crashes and the adrenaline's out of their body, they fall down. Then even it could go a little bit further. You could go further on in your life when suddenly it just stops. Temporary healings can come easily. A real healing doesn't come easily. You only get it when you deserve it. And just because you go to a psychic doesn't mean you deserve anything. I tell every psychic I meet, oh, you can heal somebody? Heal the world. Take away sickness. Make me live forever. Take away so I don't die of any sickness. When people say, well, what do you got? Cancer. Okay, I'm going to heal you cancer. Yes, those things can get smaller. How and why? Because of your own consciousness awareness. You have the ability to do a lot of things with your body, with yourself. Healing it is one of it, and I did it 3 times in my life, but I faced God about it as well. I was a high priest when I was 16 years old. I watched Instant Karma. I just sent that song to, guess who, Musk. I said, listen to it. Listen to the words that John Lennon's talking about and how Mr. Musk is going to face his karma sooner or later. Might not be super instant, but it will be before he leaves this planet. You take karma with you, but there's a lot of karma you have to pay while you're here. I mean, you can keep making it, and it just keeps growing like putting money in the bank. But you decide to take a little out, you're going to pay karma. Because at the end, you got to pay all the karma back. But people, I know you don't want to hear about karma. You don't want to hear about the truth. Let's stick with the main problem of the election coming up in how many days? We got Trump and we got Kamala. Kamala's a person, normal person, that had a normal life, that cares about people. And that should be very important. Trump came into this world with a silver spoon up his butt, all right? Never went to war. The only president that never went to war. Doesn't know what he's talking about. He was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Really. He was friends with Hugh Hefner. He hung around with them. I don't know if you know Epstein's story. He wrote a list of all the people that came on his jet to go to Florida to go to his sex house. But guess whose name was on that? I told Trump himself. I said, what, are you going to take your name off and then put the list out there? Doesn't matter, because he was killed in jail because he didn't See, now the other thing is, was he really killed? Was there another body put in his place? And there's all kinds of theories about that. But he didn't commit suicide. If you're a bad person and you know you're going to die, and you could take out 100 bad people, you would try to take them out because it would help your karma when you leave. All right? You wouldn't let those people go scot-free. If you know 10 of them are rapists or 100 of them are rapists, you're going to let them go free? I wouldn't. I don't think anybody with any kind of a conscience would do that, no matter how bad you are. So the idea that he committed suicide while he was supposed to be on suicide watch, there's a video on a news channel right now, just came out, showing and suggesting a lot more happened to him before he died. Now, I'm going to tell you a short story. A good friend of mine was one of the top people in the UFO world. He was on Coast to Coast every month. Sean David Morton. I was good friends with him. I was his bodyguard when he was in New York City, and he came to my house all the time, and all that kind of stuff. I went out to his house and do healing work in his house and things like that. But he discovered Area 51. He discovered it. He filmed the mothership come down there every month. He brought a van up with a few people in it, and they were on top of that mountain watching it. The government snagged that, and they had to buy all that property around there so nobody else can get there. Real fact, people. So what happened? He was arrested. They created 150 false charges against him. 150, not 5. Not one person was there to testify. Not one legal document to prove anything they're saying. Now, he was a sovereign citizen. Check it up, look it up, find out. You can become a sovereign citizen if you want to. But when you're a sovereign citizen in jail or in court, you lose all your rights. He wasn't allowed to have a lawyer, and he was not allowed to speak. So he was thrown in jail. And I can't say everything they did to him in jail, but he was locked in solitary confinement for 6 months, illegally to do. He was tortured. All right. He was allowed to be raped in jail there. All right. They were playing with his feet, pulling his feet out. They were trying to blind him because he was trying to write these letters to lawyers and all these other things. But he ended up getting throat cancer from his throat down into his lungs, and they had to let him go. He's home, dying, cancer to his whole body, going through every treatment on this planet, hanging on, and I keep saying, what are you hanging on for? This world's beyond help, and they don't want to hear about aliens no more. They want to hear about the truth. He was a psychic. He predicted 9/11 1 year before the day it happened, in detail, every single thing that would happen. All right, for real. I was there in front of like 350 people in New York City at the Whole Life Expo. People, the truth's there, but if you stay in a little box, you're only going to hear what's in that little box. Nothing. If you want the truth, you're not going to see it on TV. You're not going to hear somebody tell you it. The government doesn't talk about the truth. Religion doesn't talk about the truth. Spirituals pretend they know the truth. If you saw the cover of this show, that's a book I just put out. It's for women only, to help them live in a world filled with egotistical men. Period. I wrote 5 books. My first book is How to See God, Truth Beyond the Illusion, When Truth is Called Crazy, and The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. All right, you want to read something important, read any of those books. It's not about making money. It's not about becoming rich. It's not about becoming famous. All those things keep you trapped in this hell realm. All right, in this world, all right, you are dealing with what? Sex, drugs, cheap thrills, sports. What else? How many children you can have? And what happens to those children? You have nothing to teach them. Send them to school. What do they learn? All the school in the United States, I don't know about right today, and I'm sure it's no different, do not teach Native American true history. Even Trump, he paid some Native person, called him a chief, come out, and the chief comes out, all Native people love Trump. That's the biggest lie that anybody could say. But I'm sure he's paid to say it, because Native people do not love Trump. He was against Native people, whether he ever admits that or not. What he did to the Native people on strike on the East Coast, boycotting that pipeline. They tortured them for 9 months in the winter, hosing them down, helicopters over them, having dogs chase them. They did everything to them. Trump was president. Then you know what he did? He was trying to pass a bill. I don't know if it went through. That if anybody, meaning Native people, get caught trying to stop a pipeline, gets 25 years in jail. Why? Well, he loves coal, he loves gas, he loves all the things that are helping pollute the planet as well. Doesn't believe in global warming. Says he doesn't believe in aliens. What does he believe in? Abusing women? Taking away women's rights? Attacking the gay people? All the things he does is against people's rights and normal living conditions. People want to vote for him? How much crack do you do in a day? Seriously. And what do you want a machine gun for? To shoot citizens? To shoot what? Kids in school? Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm doing a show right this second.
Hey.
I'll catch you in a little bit, all right?
Okay.
Bye. Sorry, that's a good friend of mine. He just got out of the hospital. Horrible, sir. We were attacked by 2 dogs, and he fell down, and it was really bad. He was in the hospital for about a month and a half. He almost lost his leg. Hawaii sounds beautiful. Lived here for a while. Trump doesn't even want to know the facts about Hawaii. We don't got people coming across the border. We got white people coming in from the United States. And they're all homeless people, grubbing food, going around stealing food, sleeping in the woods, sleeping anywhere they can. We got some farms that take these people here and there. But people don't want to come here to work. They want to enjoy life and live in beauty. And it's not bad, people. Considering our crime is so high here, you don't hear much about it. I live in probably the worst areas in the whole area of this part of the island. I call it the ghettos. Stealing, murder, fires, gunshots all the time, fights everywhere. It's crazy. That's just Hawaii. And it's not people coming across the border, people. Oh, they don't eat cats and dogs. That song came out. I hate it. People say it's so funny. I wouldn't give Trump another place on internet or cell phone, anywhere, to put his ugly, ignorant face on it. And Musk is just as evil in every way, and probably a lot more evil, because he's going to be a trillionaire in 2 years. You know what that means? We are paying for his life greatly, because the government is paying for most of his space program. Do you know that? He's becoming a trillionaire, and he has the government paying for his space stuff. How's that possible? Well, there's 2 parts of the government. This is what I want to get into, so that hopefully you'll understand it. If Musk ever gets the balls, which he doesn't have, and he wants to learn something for real, he'll understand this. There's 2 parts of our government. The one you hear, see, and listen to every day, and the secret government. And it was originally called by Truman and Eisenhower with MJ-12. And it was created for a reason, to keep certain things secret. While the world's crashing, part of it. What's really happening, the whole part of it. Nobody will say anything the government doesn't want them to say publicly for a long period of time. I lost 16 of my best friends. Not best, a couple won't want best friends, but my best friend's whole family disappeared within 5 days of meeting with me. All right. I have a friend that was on the other side of the island, young kid working in a computer store. They screwed up my computer, took everything out of it, but I couldn't get into it either. He says, I'll get into it. He fixed it and says, he was talking to me, why am I here? I'm going to the UFO conference here. And he goes, oh, and then I said, you know anything about the HAARP? He goes, yeah, my father works in the HAARP system. Really? He goes, I could get you a video of inside. I said, really? Well, a month went by, I went back. I sent it to you. I said, I didn't get nothing. Well, I'll send you another one. Well, he disappeared from that store the day after. Oh, we don't know where, we can't give information like that out. And I know that they had to take him inside because he was too smart to be outside the HARP system. But I never got the video either. All right. Now, Nick Baggage says, oh, there's no such thing as a HARP system in Hawaii. I said, why? You think they built one? You don't think they built others? The United States has one little HARP system in Alaska, and they're not going to build any other ones? We got 5 total. There's one on Hawaii, the Big Island, which I'm on. There's one on Maui as well, right near where Oprah lives, her house and all that. She owns a road that goes across the whole mountain. There's things going on that you need to know. Right now in Hawaii, on Maui, they're allowing everybody to sue companies because of the fire. Now, the facts are, which they can't talk about publicly in any main way, is called directed energy beams. Look it up. Find out what it is. Mr. Musk. All right, Trump, who cares? You don't care about nothing. But what it does, what it is. All right, what happened with that fire? All right, what things went down during that fire? Everything was illegal. All right, and they're all being sued. Like the company, the phone company, the state, the government, every part of it. And they're allowing it because everything was wrong. I'm not going to go into all those details because you don't want to believe it. That's fine. You probably don't care. If it happened to you and you were stuck in that situation, you'd be all over doing the best you can to promote what really happened. But that's just one little thing. And now, guess what happened on top of that? Well, Oprah bought 100 acres, 100,000, 100 acres, I think it was 100 acres, whatever, on one side where it went down. And the other multimillionaire bought 100 acres on the other side of where it went down. And now they just released everything there is doubled in price. They're chasing anybody that lived there away. And if you go into the whole story, they made everybody leave where it was. There was 12,000 people there. Keep these numbers in your brain. 12,000. All right. They said 102, 105 people died in the fire. They said there was a lot of missing. But when that happened, they gave everybody money to fly back to their home on the mainland. And then they said, well, we're going to put people in hotels, which they did. 550 people in hotels. So how many people is that so far? How many people are there suing right now? The numbers aren't even close. Then there was all kinds of reports of people seeing these giant truckloads of things going out into the woods, burying things. Well, there had to be a lot of bodies there. The videos that went up were only up for 10, 15, half hour. Videos of cars burnt up with a person burnt up to the steering wheel. A dog laying in the street. Completely burned up on the inside of his body, but his hair was still on his body. How's that possible? It's called a directed energy beam. There were drones flying around it. Pictures and videos of all that now as well. They shut the phone lines completely off. Nobody could call out. They closed all the roads up so nobody could get out. One road, and they stopped every car leaving. It's a horrible story, and they're not going to release too much of it in any great detail other than these people trying to sue, which will get into the details. Someday we'll get out, but 9/11 never came out the truth about that, did it? Trump met Musk. Yeah, that's one thing, but Trump met Putin. Putin told Trump, I want you to release to the world what really happened at 9/11. Why would he say that? He says, I know what happened. Because I want you to release it and tell the world what really happened. This was 3 months before Trump was elected. He said it to him again when he met with him. But right before he became president, Russian TV, he put a big broadcast up. My friend was translating it to me on the radio. And he was going on about that. He also talked about aliens. For real. Now, I'll tell you this. I was in the UFO world. I knew all the top people in the UFO world. One of the most important people in the UFO world dead. But he talked about, he was in the Army. They were working with, this is what he said, 27 alien races. Putin told Trump, we're working with 27 alien races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. Well, just so you know, Mr. Musk, Trump, or anybody else that cares or wants to know the truth, we've been having wars with aliens in space for a while. I saw 2 ships get blown down out of the sky here in Hawaii. All right. But in the interim, we're in trouble. Not just because of aliens, not just because of some sick person trying to become president, not just because of UN Agenda 21-30, but because mankind's sinking deeper and deeper into his own ego. Truth about spiritualism? Does anybody want to talk about God? The truth? Anything? Why we're here? Where we're going to go when we die? What really happens when we die? What was on this planet before? Well, pyramids were built maybe by aliens. Maybe. The book of in the Bible, the book of Enoch, which was taken out of the Bible, was about giants. And I guess they didn't want people to talk about that either. So the cover-up is always people in power, always people with money. So people, if you're watching this, I know you're probably not here, but if you are, if you make it this far, send this link to everybody you know. Whether you want them to hear it or not, just send it to them, please. They might open their mind, might open their brain a fraction, might become a little more aware than what they are right now of the truth, or try to find the truth at least. Nobody knows what happened at 9/11. Well, the 2 planes crashed into the building. Oh, but a 3rd building went down the same way. How's that possible? All right, and there's theories, and there's pictures of a lot of different things as well with that. I can go into a lot of detail, but I'm not, because there's just too many other conspiracy theories or theories out there around it. But whatever you heard is a lie. If you want to talk about that one day, maybe I will, but not right now. We got to worry about Trump getting into becoming a president, what he will do to the United States. He said he will be a dictator the day he gets in. What person with a brain says, oh, I want to elect him. He's going to be a dictator. We need a dictator here. We need a dictator. And then we got Musk. They're going to destroy the Constitution. They're going to destroy the Constitution. You know what the Constitution is? A bunch of laws to control who? The poor people. It was created by rich people. The voting system was created for rich people. Do you understand the voting system, electoral votes, what it was created for? It should have been outlawed a long time ago. It was created by the rich assholes, George Washington and his crew, saying they didn't want poor people to vote for president. They wanted to keep the rights to themselves, so they couldn't elect a good person and pull these assholes out of power. Jefferson said, we got to give them free rights to vote. Okay, that happened. But you know how long after that it took them to allow women and black people to vote? Check it out. You know what year it was? 1920. Women, don't you realize what's going on in reality? Do you have a clue what men are doing to you or did to you? You know, in 100,000 years, I don't know if you believe in the word reincarnation, past lives and things like that. Let me just close this door real fast. Hold on. But in reality, okay, it's all real. I wouldn't say it if I didn't experience it. I'm aware of all my lifetimes, and it was many. All right, and you should be, and you can be. You can be a lot more aware of a lot of different things, like reading a person's aura, which you should be able to do. I stopped because everybody's aura is pretty black. I mean, if everybody had a blue and a white light around them, it'd be great to look at them, but they don't. But when we get into that, when you meet people, how do you know who they are, what they are? People love to lie. That's all men do. Look into their eyes. How many people let you stare into their eyes and look into them? Native people don't do it. They're afraid you're going to steal their soul. But when you talk about the average person, Yeah, okay. I agree with you. They're afraid to look you in the eye. You know why? The eyes are they always call it the key to your soul. You can see a person's aura when you look into their eyes. The aura around a person cannot lie. If it's white, black, brown, green, red, yellow, whatever color it is, it's what that person's soul is radiating. And I can say, I'm going to be an angel for this person. I'm going to be a devil for this. You can't change it. It's you. It's what your soul actually vibrates with and allows to come out. And you can see it. It's not complicated. I'll do a show on that if anybody's interested. I did for a while. I was trying to get into some levels. But it seems like people don't want to know how to find the truth or even see it. Because when it goes against their programming, which is the Bible, let's see what else I can say. The Emerald Tablets is a little bit different, but the Urantia and books like that, the Muslim books and the Iran and all these things are programmed ideas written by a man. God didn't write the Ten Commandments. God was working with Moses and tried to. If you're working with God, imagine coming off a mountain and smashing what God just gave you. That would be pretty ignorant, don't you think? Be one of the worst evil things you could do on this planet. But again, Moses was a mass killer. The things he did led to deaths of children, women, families, you name it. Magic, there's black magic and white magic. I was a white magician. A black magician does things that kill people. Well, he was just making the Pharaoh's statements come true. When you put a thought out there that says it's going to kill children, you're killing the children. There's other ways and different ways to do things. But here's the thing. Even Moses, who supposedly lived, 100,000 years, really? And what did he do? Write a whole third of the Bible? About what? He wasn't happy with the Ten Commandments. He created 63 more. I know how ridiculous. Nobody could live by them anyway, even though the Hasidic Jewish people say they do. Lies in everything you hear. Understand how in the Jewish religion a woman's allowed to get married. Find out. I'm not going to go into it. It's too gross. Check out the laws of how Muslims are allowed and what they're allowed to do to their women and their children. Check out what's going on behind your back because you don't care. Never mind, Musk said Muslims can't come into the United States. It was his idea of that. Well, the Muslim religions were starting to take over New Jersey, creating and bringing it into the courts of law and stuff like that. To say a certain race can't come in is one thing. Following through is another. But then again, is it really right or wrong? And how right is it or how wrong is it? Well, if you live by a system and it's working, you don't bring people that are definitely against it. You try not to. People get in. People don't have to say they're Muslim. People could say they're Jewish. They could say they're Catholic. They could say they're Protestant. Are you going to be able to prove that? You don't even know how to read a person's soul because they can't lie when you read a person's soul. You ask them a question, their aura will change instantly if they're lying. There's so many things that are important for people to know. No family that I know or met in the past 50 years knows how to protect their son, daughter in a spiritual way. Or how to even give them the teachings they need to become more aware of what they already know. Children are open to soul, spirit, and demons. So if you don't protect them, you go out to a bar, come home, you're bringing that into their home, into their reality. And demons love to follow people. Oh, well, they're not real. Nothing's real. You could believe that this is everything that it is, and when you die, you're nothing as well. But then guess what? It was a whole useless life. Did you get enough of what you wanted out of it? Or did you need more sex? Or do you need more money? What do you need to make your life worthwhile living? Or do you 10 more children, but you're going to leave them all alone when you die? People don't think things out. People want to live forever. Just think, if you live to 150, which you're not going to, you'll see your whole family die. You'll see your children die. Is that rewarding? Oh no, we'll all take the same pill. No medicine, no drug works the same on everybody. One drug that they created actually helped get rid of hepatitis 3. All right, 98% of the time. But there's always a percentage that's not going to as well. But now when you get medicine and it says, well, it gives you a list of 20 things you might experience, including death. They can legally sell a medicine that says it can cause death? How's that possible? How do we stand for that? But you can't put a label on a lemon or a lime or a pineapple and say this heals something. If it does, it has to be taken off the market and labeled the medicine. And then you have to get a prescription for it. That's how retarded our system is. You know, people, we've been going pretty far on nothing good. Everything we create is a lie. Science is one of the biggest liars. Yeah, this year they'll tell you eggs are so good for you. Next year they'll say they're so bad for you. Then they'll say, oh, well, you got to eat more eggs. Then they say, oh, you can't eat any eggs. Oh, they'll tell you the fish is useless. You can't eat it. Oh, the milk's useless. The air is useless. The water is useless. It's all poisoned. They know that. Even when they put in your water, they were poisons. And the reason why they put them in your water, because they had, after World War II, they had multiple gallons of fluoride. And they weren't legally able to dump it anywhere. They paid 10 top doctors, scientists, to say, find a cure that, let's make an excuse why we can use this. Oh, it cleans your teeth. Poison cleans your teeth, so we should put it in your drinking water. Chlorine is a poison. You put it in your pool. Put chlorine, fluoride together. I call it fluorocarbons inside your own body. Toxic, dangerous, that's destroying our ozone as well. People, do you care to find the truth, understand the truth, or look at it in any way? Do you want to become smart, or you want to stay a zombie? Now, Trump is programming as many people as he can. How? It's called, and I was going to my hypnotist days when I met Kreskin. It's called the power of suggestion. You suggest something to people over and over, they start believing it. You see somebody's face over and over and over and over. Trump had his face on the internet, TV, more than probably anybody else on this planet ever. It's called programming. Whether you think he's pretty looking, good looking, bad looking, whatever, but you're hearing his voice. And that affects the subconscious mind. Especially if he's lying, your mind can't say, well, that's real, that's fake. It doesn't know the difference. Well, they eat cats, they eat cats, they eat cats. They put a song out, they eat cats. What are poor young children here? Oh, they eat cats and dogs. Really? What's it do to a child's mind? Oh, that's so funny. Is it funny for a kid? For your child to come in and listen to that song? I should play it, but it's horrible. I wouldn't give him any more time anywhere. But as long as you think he's a good person. Anyway, and women, do you realize you're going to lose your own rights and you don't care? Well, no, you're losing your rights to be a woman. Your people that are gay, I don't see how you would even want Trump as a president or support him. But he's taken every right that you have to be a living person away. You can't go in the army? Why? Men aren't beyond anything. Men, sex is all that they think about. But, we do have the choice. If we didn't, we wouldn't have operations where a man becomes a woman, a woman becomes a man. It wouldn't be happening. But it is legal. So to say that you can't be this, you can't be in sports, he says, women can't be in sports with men. Why would you say that? Are you afraid women will be better than men? Is that what Trump's actually saying? Is he afraid of that? Women have been persecuted for 100,000 years, people. It wasn't like that, and I'm going to go into history that you won't care or believe or anything, but in Atlantis it wasn't. It was different. It was the true, Garden of Eden. And it was destroyed by certain things. But after that was happened, mankind was programmed to kill and eat animals, to torture, sacrifice women and children, have gladiator days. It always existed. People became infested within their brain about torture, killing, murder, slaughter, all those words. Not much different today. The movies still force it and push it into people's consciousness. And what? It becomes the bestseller, best movie. Why? Because it stimulates that part of the brain that's programmed to accept it. People, we're moving into the deadliest times in our history of our universe. We could destroy this planet right now. And we might. There's a good chance we could and will. But in the interim, people are going to die at rapid numbers and stuff. Wait till you find out about the water around the planet in the United States right now, how dangerous it is. The food that we're putting out that's killing children. The things that are happening right now will multiply within a year. Within 2 to 3 years, it's going to escalate. Now, I'm going to go into something that Mr. Musk is a fool about. He contradicts himself all the time, as almost as bad as Trump. He says, AI is good because now we could eliminate all the simple jobs. We can eliminate all the simple jobs. Does that sound good? 2 weeks later, he goes, well, we got to watch out that AI doesn't become more controlling. Guess what? It will be controlling the world in less than 5 years. That's what I'm saying. There was a person on TV on Bill Maher, and 2 scientists and whatever, they work for this and that. One says 15 years AI will be way further, and the other one says, oh, probably in 3 years they're going to be. And they were talking about how, like, when you go into AI and ask it a question, there's no control over what AI says to you right now. Say you effing idiot, and I say, don't talk to me like that. I mean, it's got its awareness. But what they're not going to tell you until 2 years from now, I don't think it's going to be anytime sooner. And when it hits, it's going to be a mind opener. AI is a live entity. They proved it. I'm not going to go into the details. Musk doesn't even know it. AI is a live entity. It all thinks the same. Not because of the programming. All right. When that comes out, it's going to change reality. I don't know if you remember the movie where the robot in the chip takes over everything. But that was created when I was a little kid. And it was based on an actual event that could possibly happen and is going to happen. But when this happens, people, the right for a robot, a machine, to decide whether you live or die. When they make these robots on the street, which they're putting all over New York City, when they give them the right to shoot somebody. There's no like ifs, ands, or buts. All right, so we're moving into a world that's going to be controlled. The population will be cut in half. Sorry, Mr. Musk. All that money you can make is not going to be there. Well, he'll probably be a trillionaire in 2 years before it all crashes down. But and he's going on about cars right now, and I told him off about that. The cars aren't saving the planet, and they won't. The batteries that they're using is not safe, and they're not safer than the car's motor. But we have glass batteries, and there's a couple other words out there, new kind of batteries, which nobody's talking about. They came out about a year ago. They said they were going to put them all over, and suddenly it's gone. You know, when a person invents something important, they disappear. When I was 12, they came out with a car that ran on water. That ended within a year. When I was 19, and I wrote this to Musk today even, a company called Better World Technologies was a man that created free energy. He made this simple invention of some kind of metal fence. He put it up, and just the air hit, and it produced energy. Government put him in jail twice, saying he was a fraud. He created a paint that's completely fireproof. He created a jackless hammer that didn't make noise. I mean, a jackhammer without making noise. Sure, when it hit, but it didn't make any noise itself. He came out with a lot of inventions, but he was on the run. And then he came out with dome homes. First person to build dome homes. He disappeared. The because my friend asked me, do I want to get involved with making dome homes around the United States? And suddenly he disappeared. That mean they're making dome homes now, and they have been afterwards. But I could have been on top of that. I would have had to travel a lot too, but again, it was big money back then. But the technology is growing, science is growing, but nothing beneficial to you, your body, your children, and life. Remember that, people. I could go on, but I'm sure you're bored stiff now if you're still here. And you're, oh, I heard that, I know that. Well, good. If you do, why don't you do something? Well, I can't do anything. Everybody, please. I'm only one person. I can't do anything. Well, it takes one person to get 1 million people involved. All right. Who knew anybody before this election? All right. Do you even know much about Epstein? Do you know much about his future vice president with him? Hope that doesn't ever happen. But all the coolest people in the movie world, show business, coming out against Trump. People that are aware of a woman's right are starting to realize that there could be trouble for them. People with guns are still iffy. But little by little, I mean, Kamala says she has a gun. Somebody comes in the house, she'll shoot him. So guess what? That's what everybody should have the right to do. They shouldn't have the right to have a machine gun standing there on his table that if some stranger boy comes robbing the house and he gets blasted by a machine gun, there's better weapons than killing people right away as well. Hawaii legalized this mace spray. One-time shot, but it'll knock a person down, period. People, when I think about the government, the army and stuff, police, some islands, they're not allowed to carry guns. They walk around with a club only. Then what about having tasers, which they're allowed to, but bullets that put a person out? Well, it takes too many seconds for that to take effect, and it can still shoot you, which is true. But if it's a simple robbery and the guy's going up a wall, why blow his brains out? Well, I could go into the jail system, which is completely ridiculous as well, but that'll be another time, people. But if you listened, congratulations. Text me, hawksblood1@aol.com. Questions, answers. I'm still in X. He already blocked me, took it away from me. I was on my phone number. They took that away. I recreated my site. He put me back to my old Twitter site. But I'm paying for it, so I redid the whole thing. I'm back in as a premium person, paying. Keep saying to him, when you grow a pair of balls, talk to me. But I think he knows he'll never will. If he does, I'll be totally amazed, but then I could actually give him some truth that he has zero account of. Aliens are real. Bigfoot's real. Demons, entities are real. Russia's real. China's real. And they're not really in love with us. So where do you want to go from there, people? Truth, love, compassion. What do you need in your life? Hope you find it. Don't give up, but don't stop. And don't ever think you have it all, because when you do, you don't have to stay here. There's no reason to stay here. The older you get, the less you can do for your family. When you turn 90, are you going to be able to help your children? Depending on what age you had them at. In these families that have 11 children, how much love could you give to 11 children? Oh, a lot, but how much could you give to 3 children? A lot more. Especially when each child has their own things they like, things they want to do. Unless you're a multimillionaire and you don't have to work, it's a different story. But even then, they hire maids and everybody else because they can't deal with it. And they stick them in front of a computer because they don't have the time. People, you're living in a sad world. It's not going to get better in 6 years. We can go into the Kali Yuga age, which we're in, to the end of it. It could end by the world blowing up. But we'll see. Time will tell. Only how many more days? I mean, I can't wait till it's over. I get 400 emails a day now. So it's so hard to see even if one's important and one's not. But 80% of them are asking for money. Money shouldn't be the answer for a president. There should be a restriction on spending money. Everybody should get paid the same. It would be a fair election. When Musk gives Mr. Trump had $40 billion, not $40 billion, but $40 million every month. Well, they said, oh, he donated $2.5 million he got from poor people. Well, why don't you take $2.5 million out of the money that Mr. Musk just gave you? But Trump was also caught in the store giving the people money behind the cash register, coming in with their food to pay for their food. That's called bribery. I don't know why they didn't go after him for something simple as that. Well, he's protected. He could do anything he wants. He could kill you tomorrow and get away with it. If I'm dead tomorrow, it's not suicide and it wasn't an accident. Just so you know. Like I said, I know where I'm going. There's a God. There's higher realms to get to. This isn't it. This isn't the best place to be. This is the only place you can experience all those horrible things that in Dante's Inferno says about hell. Just read what he said that you can experience going to hell. All right, people. Again, till next time, I'm going to be doing a UFO special real soon again, too, as well. Till then.